Done in silk blue, mica 3D silk blue. This is, I've already started dribbling the seam line here, but I think I'm going to have to Bondo it like crazy. Not a very good model, to be honest with you. If you see right in here, you see just how thin that wall is, how it started already eating the outer wall. Like right there. Sorry, with this silk, like I said in my review, it's really hard to get the camera to focus, so it's going to be going in and out. So I'm going to get some Bondo on this, and start sanding it. Get this looking good. There it is, all bondoed. Looking good, very smooth. I kind of like having that silk underneath the Bondo, and it sands down really, really good. That silk filament that I showed you guys a review of. I put this on really, really thick, thicker than I typically put any Bondo on, because and I left this open in the back so you guys could see. It didn't put the lines together that well. This is a very weak wall. You can see just how thin this is. It's very, very weak. In fact, check out on this side. You can go see how easily it just pushes in. Really thin walls. So for reinforcement, you can tell up here I put quite a bit of Bondo in up around the top. So I think that's going to be good. That looks really good though. I think it's about time to put some filler primer on it. Alright, now that it's been primered, filler primer, and sanded, we're going to hit it with some white acrylic paint. And I got to make sure that this is, I've got the PSI turned up correctly, which I don't think I do. I always have trouble with white. I'm half tempted to just spray paint this, but I don't want to. I have to go over this so many times. The one thing about acrylic paint, the white just sucks. So in order to get the right pink, I'm mixing this really awesome red along with this lighter pink. And I think I've got the right color actually. If you look at that, that looks really good. Oh yeah, it's gonna look great. So I don't have much battery left in my phone. This is probably gonna die. But I did this with tape. Just free-handed the whole thing, looking at a picture, which I'll provide right here, of the pink spots. Basically, I'm going to do one color at a time so I don't get all sidetracked by any of the colors. And then I made this custom pink here that I showed you guys a second ago out of red and a specific red and a specific pink. I think I got really close to the actual pink. So, and then I just free-handed all this tape onto here. I'm hoping this looks really good. If not, I mean, it's just acrylic, so you can just I can just wipe it off and start all over, but I'm going to see what this looks like. On softly. And I'll go thicker as I go. Well, that looks really good. I mean, it's going to take an extra coat, but I'm going to do the other side off camera, and I'll show you guys when it's done and the tape's off. So next time you'll see this, the tape will be off of it. Still need some touch-ups, but I don't think it looks too bad. I think that's looking pretty good. I'll do the black next. I'll put the clear coat on it to give it a little bit of strength, and we'll let it dry tonight. And then I'll do the black, we'll do another clear coat, and I'll do that gold thing and do another clear coat. And it should be done. Oh, we should probably touch these little spots up here. Right along there, but looks really good. I dig it. I taped it up where the black goes, and I'm freehanding all this. Just FYI on everything. I'm just kind of looking at a picture, laying down the outline on one side and trying to match it up the best I can on the other side. So I'm going to go in here and make sure all of this tape is pushed down. I also went through here and put a clear coat over this entire thing. That way any of the splash or any of the stuff that gets on here, I can either sand it off or I can usually just wash it off. But I'm using a different type of paint. It's a little tough to wash off. But it's just an extra measure so I don't have to go in and completely redo everything. A lot of whites soak in color, especially black. I'm going to have to go over this whole thing again with white anyways. But it's just a little bit of extra protection so you don't have to do so much extra. So let's put some black on this. I'm just using a basic opaque black Createx airbrush paint. You can already see some splash on the side and on the bottom there. Now we are on the gold part. I had to completely redo all of this because the paint was peeling up. The base coat of white, the acrylic. It's probably just the cheap acrylic that I put down on it. It dried all the way. And I went with one color and it didn't come up, and then I went for the second color and then it all started coming up like crazy. It's way too much. So I put an actual spray paint white on it and redid everything exactly the same way that I did it. So I'll show you guys that here in a bit. We're going to put a metallic gold right here. And I will say this. This one I'm freehanding everything. You can get a model of this mask where all of these colors, where you put color at, pops out. It pops up. And you can just color those spots and it's super easy. All of this I'm freehanding. I'm putting the tape on myself, just kind of guessing where it goes and just trying my hardest to get it right. One of the things that I noticed about the mask online, because I've been looking, whenever I do these things, I look at the masks over and over again. I look at other people's work. I look at everything that I possibly can. The colored parts aren't raised on the real mask on Drift on Fortnite, for one. So this is probably the best model that you can get, and it's free. It's either on Thingiverse or My Mini Factory. I can't remember exactly where I got this one. The raised ones are on one. You know, this one's on another one. They've got several different ones. And another thing too is I made this thing. What I did first is I took a piece of this and I laid it straight down the middle, and then I freehand drew all this in, and then I took it off, put it on a piece of cardboard and cut it out, replaced it on here and put the tape around it, and then I peeled that part up I didn't show you that whole thing because it was kind of a mess. One thing I will say about this is the reason why I'm freehanding all this and kind of eyeballing it rather than doing precise measurements is because if you look at the actual picture of drift, none of it's actually geometrically correct. Like, if you look at the game itself and the way that stuff is, it looks like it's all like cartoon drawn and stuff, and then they spray paint, so they're like graffiti artists and such. And the way that I kind of see this, to be honest with you, in my own mind, is if a graffiti artist, Drift has that black face mask on that's obviously a spray paint mask, and he does graffiti and stuff, I would imagine that a graffiti artist wouldn't be precise about everything. In fact, you'd probably just freehand it all on there. So that's what I've been trying to do, is stay as true as I possibly can to what I think the actual mask would have been. You can certainly do it how you want if you're making one of these, but that's just my opinion on it. You can see just how freehand that is, and I actually think it looks better than when I had it completely measured out and precise. So I'm going to put this metallic gold on here, watered this down, and I'm going to put it through the airbrush, and I'm hoping that it works. I didn't have much luck with the last Walmart acrylic paint. If you've got the pressure too low, it'll clog up way too quick. I mean, it's a huge guessing game. So I've got the PSI turned up, but I've got these little walls over here on the sides. And I'm hoping, if this doesn't work right, what I'm going to do is tape this whole thing up, and I've got a bunch of that gold left from the Iron Man suit, and that would actually be really, really good on this. So, just depending on how well this works. You can see just how watered down it looks. It might be too much water. Okay, so there was something up with my gold, and it's the only gold acrylic that I have that I can mix water with. Like, literally, you could watch it dry. It was drying way too quick, kept clogging my airbrush up, like, way too quick. I've never seen paint dry that quick in my life. And I just couldn't get it to go on right. And you can kind of still see the outline of it here. It was terrible. So what I'm going to do is kind of a reverse thing. I went and taped off this here, kind of the space that it's going to take. And then it's going to be so much easier taking the tape and making the lines correctly and then spraying it with white, rather than trying to make that little design and tape in these tiny little corners and in the inside part and stuff. So what I'm doing is I just sprayed this with brilliant gold, just one coat, that's it. And then as soon as this dries, I'm going to take it off, and then I'm going to put the tape on in that design, and then I'm going to spray over the top of it in white. I'm trying something different. I've never done this reverse taping before like this, but I'm trying it. The cool thing about doing it this way is I've only got to cover up the color. So this whole backwards thing, we're going to try it out. I'm not sure how good it's going to look, but we're going to give it a shot. I'm a bit afraid of what this is going to turn out looking like, but we can sand down any imperfections and really put a nice clear coat on this, see what it looks like. But you guys didn't see all this because I didn't want to redo the whole entire thing, but what I ended up doing is that didn't work, the little thing that I showed you guys, trying to do it backwards. So I sanded it all down, tried to do it white. I tried several different things, but I finally, was just like, you know what, I'm just going to start all over because it's just not working, and I'm going to start with the gold first. And so I sanded the entire thing down completely, came back and did the gold first, just regular taped up, and I'll show you guys pictures of that right up here. And then I went back and I re-taped all of these parts up and repainted each one with the pink first and then into the black. And now it is finished. So looks really, really good. It's just drying. I just put a clear coat on it. It's like I'm having a little bit of problem with it raising up over here a little bit, so I'm going to go back in there and kind of probably going to have to sand down these parts and put a better clear coat on it. I'm not 100% sure. We'll figure something out on it, but it looks really good by the colors and stuff. It looks really good. So this one will be done, and we'll be doing a print review on it here very, very soon. So looks phenomenal.